Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's podcast. It's an exciting one, really, because we're going to be talking about the Engineering Supply Chain Show. Now, the dates of this event, it's happening at the NEC, are from the 16th to the 18th of April. I'm joined today by Paul Jones from MTD.
Good afternoon.
Hello. And I'm also joined with, by, James Fudge from the MTA.
Hello again.
Now, the question I've got is, these dates coincide with MACH?
They do indeed, yes.
Yeah, so what's this all about?
So we have always had a UK supply chain zone at MACH. And again, we looked at what our visitors were asking for, and we found a lot of the OEMs were coming along to look at investing in new equipment. But they're also looking at the capability and moreover the capacity of UK and the supply chain. So if they were specifying just parts rather than machinery, who could they go and talk to? And we found that a lot of those companies were getting good traction. One of the other things we found was the time commitment to do MACH. It's a big show, and if you're not bringing equipment, it's a long time to be out of the office. So what we said was, well, what we could do is have this as a standalone show in its own hall, completely co-located with MACH. So on the Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday of MACH, the doors will be wide open. You'll be able to walk straight from one hall to the other without realising you're kind of changing shows as such, but give the chance to showcase what the UK are doing.
Well, this is really exciting because it's actually a show that has grown, kind of evolved from the increase in demand of a show or a zone, shall we say, that was connected to MACH.
Yeah, and again, we've had companies that have been in that zone before, had really good business leads come from the show. And again, this just kind of gives them their own identity. And, you know, we get 26,000 attendees at the exhibition. Why wouldn't you want to have more of the community there so that you can actually look at the different companies involved in supply chain? And these companies will be a complete mix. So they might be part of the subcontract market, they might be material suppliers. You know, it really is quite a broad range across that.
But you've got some rules, haven't you? So you've got a rule to say that if you want to be at this show, you have to be UK registered and you must offer capacity in subcontract or supply chain services.
I think that's the thing is, yeah, when you look at, the UK as a market, we've got such good capability in this country. And I think, you know, people aren't just necessarily reshoring or onshoring. You know, they've got supply chains that have been there, but the disruption to those supply chains over the last couple of years has meant that people are looking for different providers. And that's exactly what this show will do. And also, if you're looking for companies in the UK, you're reducing the mileage that you're bringing parts in from. So again, it's looking at that more sustainable picture. And
I can imagine it's quite. Sorry, I can imagine it's quite an attractive proposition for a subcontractor, because I mean, there of course there are avenues and ways and shows, but when you talk about the kind of footfall that you're talking about, that's pretty colossal, isn't it? And when you look at the, you know, MACH as a show and then this together, it is kind of hand in glove, isn't it? But both of these communities fit perfectly.
Massively. And as I say, when you're looking at some of our visitors that come to the show and they are going, right, well, where else can we look for, you know, suppliers of parts rather than just new equipment? This is the exact sort of thing they'll be looking for. And doing it, as I say, making it that lower commitment, we've made it very easy to exhibit. It'll be majoritively a shell scheme show. And the idea is that we've put a package price together where people can turn up, they get their data capture included, parking passes, furniture, the whole thing is provided so that you can literally turn up either on the Monday evening to set up or on the Tuesday morning, and you're there for the 3 days accessing tens of thousands of people coming through the door.
What is the size of the area?
So it actually occupies Hall 7 at the NEC.
Okay.
So MACH runs 17, 18, 19, 20 and 6. I know the numbers don't line up.
I could see the floor plan like that in your mind. You were walking around it.
I can go through it. I can tell you where most of the exhibitors are.
Yeah.
And I know 20 and 6 don't sound like they're next to each other, but I can
they
assure
are,
you they
yes.
are. And then Hall 7. So as I say, the doors will open fully to this show, so you'll be able to go between shows. But also it's got its own dedicated entrance. So Hall 7 will be branded Engineering Supply Chain Show. So for people looking for people as part of that chain, they'll be able to go there directly.
I think having the two together, you've got more exhibitors within manufacturing in general, but that compounds in a sense, and that should increase footfall too, shouldn't it? Which then everybody else wins as well. So it's kind of
they've often been co-located shows with MACH. That's changed for 2024. So this will be the only co-located show with MACH for those 3 days. And again, when we've got that number of people and the whole community there, why would we choose not to do that?
You know what? Let's talk about MACH as a show, as an event. You know, this is huge. This is we were talking about this, aside from when we start the podcast, but just beforehand when we're having a cup of tea. Live events, we all love going to them. They're the best. You can't beat it, can you? You went to a 4D experience, didn't you, Paul, the other day at the cinema? It's all of this meeting people one-on-one. Of course that's the cinema, but it's an experience, isn't it? You cannot physically beat it. As much as, I'm pro digital, obviously, video marketing, that's what we do. But on top of that, you cannot beat physically seeing people in person, seeing products, talking to somebody one-on-one and getting their genuine reaction and those side conversations that you have that you can't always get unless you're with someone, not on Zoom or anything like that. That's what happens at MACH. And this is going to flow across to this event.
Massively. And I think that's the thing is people don't just come to MACH and go, I want to buy A, B or C machine. They turn up and go, right, I need to solve this problem. What do I do? Do I need to invest in something like automation? Do I need to buy new manufacturing technology? Do I need to talk to someone else in the supply chain and say, well, could you help me with this part? 9 times out of 10, it's all of those things. So actually, you need that. There's no one solution that's going to work for everyone, and people look at that combination. And I think that's going to be one of the real things on this show is people are going to go, some people will be going, whilst I'm here, I'll come to this. But I've already got people saying to me, I am coming to the Engineering Supply Chain show.
Oh,
I want to come to this over MACH almost.
Oh, really?
Because I'm looking for new suppliers. The last couple of years have been so disruptive that people are going, well, what else exists out there? And actually, what have we got in the UK? We are one of the best countries in the world for manufacturing technologies and engineering.
And I think we'll all agree that it's a real symbiotic relationship between both of the shows.
Yeah, there's also a common theme as well, or is that what that means? I don't know.
What that means.
But yeah, I think if you take MACH and then you take the show you're talking about here, I think technology plays such a major role in everything that these shows are about. And with MACH, the technology is evolving really quickly, and suppliers want to show that off, and they want to show it off even more frequently these days because they just have to keep ahead of the game. I think the importance of the engineering supply chain is that these guys invest in that technology and they use that technology in order to make parts more efficiently, faster, better, and they want to show, potential visitors how they can do that too. And I think there is this trend or this symbioticness between the two shows that works really well, and there is no other. So I would imagine the demand for this from the supply chain is going to be quite high. Any space left?
Well, as I say, again, this has come out of a drive from what visitors are looking for, and we know this is a big part of what they're after. Yes, we've still got spaces available. Again, because of these new halls that we use and it's modular, we can expand that if we need to. This has its own seminar theatre, which will have lots of different presentations throughout the week as part of the programme. So a big focus around sustainability in its totality. So that includes everything from skills right the way through to the greener elements, energy reduction, etc. But this show is going to encompass all of that in one place.
And what we're going to do in collaboration with the MTA is we're going to have, a really big digital presence there. And that's going to be quite exciting as well, because these exhibitors will also get the opportunity to broadcast what they're about, what they make, how they make it, across our digital channels as well. So I think that combination of the footfall, which you talk about, plus the visibility of our channel will really give those that invest their money and their time into this show to get the best exposure. And it'd be great to have kind of all of these, let's say leaders within their fields in one place where we can, help broadcast that message.
Again, like we were saying earlier before we started, it's about the community, because you've got all these people gathered in one place. You're talking to this wider community as well. Why wouldn't you want to look at the UK's advanced engineering sector in a single look? And it's why we do our dinner at MACH as well. The MTA run their annual dinner as part of MACH and the Engineering Supply Chain show, because everyone's there and it's a great chance to network with people.
One of my favourite parts about doing,
dinner.
We'll just stop there. No, of course, I always love food. But one of my favourite parts is seeing people. We travel the country. We create case studies. We travel a lot. This is a place where we see people that we've met from years gone by, and we see people that at the heart. We've been onto their shop floor and we see those same people at these events. And I think for me, it's where everybody can come together, share ideas, mix, network. I know it's really kind of cheesy to say, but it is that moment. It's 1 week. In fact, it's 3 days, this show, sitting in the middle of MACH, but it's 1 week where we can all come together and see what happens and talk. It's a really good atmosphere.
I think as well, I was saying earlier about how exciting it is to see the new technology. These are going to be the guys that are using it. So actually you get to see where how that technology is being deployed. And again, I know I keep talking about capability, but we've got such good capability in the UK. And to actually see that in action and kind of, it's the next bit of the story.
Yeah, and also, you know, the amount of people that I go out to, and you know, I always say I'm a walking NDA because people tell me a lot of things when I'm on site that I can't tell the next person. But I know that a lot of subcontractors are using each other for different pieces of work, and it's almost going to one location where they can be talking with their suppliers, with their partners, and then on the Monday, on the Friday, whichever day you go off to MACH, you can go and talk to your, you know, who you're buying parts from, technology from, and it's all about getting together.
It's collaboration at the end of the day, and that's the real thing. Is it is one sector, it is one industry, and to actually have that ability to do that. And for us to showcase it, and that's all this is about, is showcasing what people are already doing.
What I find interesting is that engineers, by the very nature of them, and we see this all the time, is they're really curious, and they're kind of, I hate to say this, but kind of nosy in a sense as to what is new, what's the best way to do something. And I think that, you know, it's no secret, over years some industries, exhibitions haven't been as good as they might have been in previous years. But I think in our industry, I think it sits quite uniquely in a sense that people always want to kind of touch and feel and partner with people, don't they? Whereas, and that's quite, I don't know, I think that's quite unique to engineering. And I think that's why you find nobody buys a big piece of equipment, or nobody often buys a part from a company without having met that person. And I don't think that will ever change. Because I just think it's innate. That's 2 big words. Is that?
It's not a big word, Paul. But
I think it's kind of in us to want to see and all the rest of it. And I can see the fact that and the biggest thing for me, I'm always a skeptic about anything, and I think it's important to if somebody asks you about something, always try and think of the worst things first before you think of the good bits. And I'm looking at this show, I think the biggest draws to me, if I was a subcontract machinist, I'm busy. So can I spare the time? Okay, location, can I get there easily and get away easily? Am I going to have all the hassle of lugging stuff up and setting stuff up and all the rest of it? But most importantly, is there going to be enough people there for me to get the return which I want on my investment? And I think that with the shows being co-located, I think, you know, the answers to all of those questions is quite favourable. So I'm sure you won't struggle to get not just the attendance, but the people invested in it too.
Well, as I say, this has come out of a demand from both visitors and exhibitors, actually, saying we'd like to showcase our products to these people. These people going, we need to find out about it. It just works. You know, we've not created this as a bit of fun. This is because people are genuinely asking us for it. Yeah. And, you know, we want to make it as successful as possible. And like I say, it goes back to this collaboration and showcasing.
Is there many big names as well, James, that you could maybe put across on this podcast?
Are you allowed to?
That will be there. They may be there exhibiting. You know, from the MACH perspective, they may be there in collaboration with in a zone. So names that will be to this supply chain. They'll be going, oh, hang on a minute. You know, am I going to get an audience with X or Y?
I mean, we get large automotive and aerospace companies based in the UK that send their procurement team along. I mean, the Ministry of Defence send their procurement team along to come and meet these people. There are big names that, you know, I can't share too much of them.
He's a walking NDA now.
We're also looking at, well, hang on a minute, what can we do in terms of sort of meet the buyer style events? So actually they could sit down with these exhibitors and go, yeah, this is what we're trying to get to. This is where we're looking at.
Got your elevator pitch or something. You know, you've got a minute there with it. Yeah.
Can I do something a bit salesy?
Sure.
Yeah, just reading off the website. It's just to kind of finish off. It's just quite interesting. But And this was from your MACH and the engineering supply chain show, but it's 92% of exhibitors generated leads, 84% raised their profile, 40% launched new products, and 55% received tenders and quotations requested. So, I mean, you've got some good numbers there. That's quite interesting. You know, you talk about return on investment. You've got to be considering all these things when you put money down.
It always goes back to what I say about these things is, lovely, this is a 3-day show. You're not just there trying to flog as much stuff as you can.
No, and go to the dinner.
This is about going, who can I talk to? Don't forget the dinner. Yeah. This is about who can I talk to front end and invite my customers there, the next part of that supply chain. And then what do I do to follow that up until hopefully they come back for Engineering Supply Chain Show 2026.
Yeah.
And it's about that. This is just part of that process. You know, this is us putting people in front of each other. Yeah. You know, it's what you guys do on the digital side. It's exactly the same thing, but for the physical bit, it's just putting buyer and seller together.
And I do want to say this. I you know, we're doing more with you this time round in 2024 than we have done before, which is a great partnership. And I think it's exciting to be able to take something like this, which in my opinion, it is needed, and being able to help to get it to more people and to be visible to more and more potential buyers than has ever been before. So hopefully that will encourage subcontractors, if they're watching this, to think, do you know what, actually, you know, what have I got to lose by this? It's easy. The footfall's there. I'm going to get the MTDCNC visibility. You know, I could be showcasing my business to the biggest possible audience over a 3-day period.
And I think, as I say, we've put these packages together for people to make it
easy.
A low cost or affordable, but B, easy. So you turn up and, like I say, everything's there. We've not got any hidden costs.
No.
And, you know, because we're not a commercial organiser, we are a trade association that is working in the industry. We know exactly the types of topics and things that people are looking for. You know, we've not just done an exit survey and visitors and gone, what would you like to see? We've gone out and spoken to them. And actually, that, as I say, that's where the need for this has grown.
Yeah. Oh, well, we're obviously going to be there at the events. I'm really looking forward to it. It's not actually that far away, as scary as it sounds. I think sometimes you think when it turns the year, when the year turns, that's when everyone kind of switches on and goes, my gosh, it's not far away.
And I suppose the point being on that as well, I'm sorry to cut, is you don't want to wait too long to contact you guys because it may be too late, I suppose, is there?
The other thing as well is we spread the cost. So a lot of people, because of how we operate, we don't go, no, you need to pay it all up front. We'll spread that on like direct debits. Yeah. So a lot of people go, well, no, I want to do it now, because then by the time I get to even the end of this year, it's all covered. That includes all your stands, everything. You've literally just got to turn up. It's the time resource rather than anything else. So.
Wow. All right, I'm looking forward to this one. I love live events anyway. So thank you so much, James. And good things happen in 3. So Paul, can you just give me a long word, because you've done 2. Just another one will do.
Symptomatic. A bit like symbiotic.
You can't.
That's cheery.
Yeah.
Oh, God. That's two that I don't know.
And that was Paul Jones put on the spot. That's.
I was just the S. Kate, you said and that was S.
Digging a hole now. Thank you so much, James. Thank you, Paul. And I really, honestly, can't wait to be part of this event. Thanks, James.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the MTD podcast. If you found value in this episode, please subscribe and leave a rating and review. Find more episodes on mtdcnc.com.